Friends of LinkedIn, friends of good agency, friends around the world, I am so excited. Today is the day. It's finally here. I almost didn't even sleep last night because something so exciting is happening. If we haven't met yet, my name is Luke Frazier. I am one of the team members, head of revenue over here at Good Agency. And today is very special. If you haven't already known and figured this out, we are launching a very wonderful, a very tactical, very practical book for the one and only Mr. Clay Vaughan. And it's very exciting. It's called Velocity. We're going to be talking about this book today. We're going to be diving into its goodness, its qualities. You're going to hear from some people who have been a part of this book. You're going to hear from some clients. You're going to hear from Clay himself diving into this book. But before we begin in all of that, if you're listening live on LinkedIn or anywhere else that's streaming right now, let us know. Did you pre-order the book? Did you go and order it today? If you have known Clay for any amount of time, in the comments, I would also love to hear a few things. In the comments, you can share your favorite fun fact about Clay. You could share a funny fact about Clay. Emily, be careful on this one. We don't want any hidden secrets, okay? But we want to have fun in not only celebrating Clay, but celebrating the book, celebrating all the clients, celebrating the over 2 decades of effort that has gone into helping companies really thrive, not just try to survive. And so before we dive into all of that, as you guys are coming on, as you guys are sharing, I wanted to share a little special video that highlights a little bit about the book and things that are coming in the future alongside the book. So enjoy a little hype around Velocity and the Fractional Revenue Executive Program.
Oh, it's exciting to finally be here. Most marketers are hired to increase revenue. We should be hired to increase profit. We're just gonna jump right on in. I wanted to help businesses shorten the years of struggle. Fractional model is the way of the future. These 3 core areas. If you can get first the culture taken care of with your heart, then you get your strategy, and then you can hustle. The number 1 goal of the FRE is to get the founder out of sales. When I wrote the book, I had you guys in mind. When we walk into a meeting, we can say that we're a certified fractional revenue executive. We're not just a coach. We're someone who actually is there to help our clients win. May you be successful. May you be humble. May you be hospitable. And may you be filled with grit and a desire to grow. Cheers.
That is right. As you saw it, folks, we have an awesome program. What's great about this book, and we'll talk about this with Clay in just a moment, is that it really is built for small businesses that are kind of stuck at this $1 to $5, maybe $10 million revenue space, and not only for companies that are trying to grow profits, revenue, but really companies that are trying to increase the profitability of their companies. It's also for fractional revenue experts, people in a CMO or a sales seat that can help companies at scale, help multiple companies at a time. And we have a very phenomenal program. We've already had a core class go through this program. We've got another one coming up in April, as you just saw. And so if that's you, you can actually go check that program out. We might even talk a little bit more about it today. But no more promotions. It is now time for the moment you've all been waiting for. I would like to, without any further ado, invite to the stage entrepreneur, husband, father, creative, filmographer. Sorry, Clay, that was a botch. But now we get to add to his range of titles an author. Everyone give it up for our dear friend, Clay.
I appreciate the applause. That's
Clay, we're so
not manufactured at all. I love it.
Not at all. It wasn't forced, as you know. I like authenticity around here, Clay. Hey, congratulations.
Thanks.
Good
It
job.
is It is awesome to have the version that doesn't have the do not or
I
not available for
know. I
resale.
have
Gets
the
you a copy without
resale
that.
version. Clay has the real
The
one.
final copy.
It
It is
looks much
here.
better. We did a little redesign on the cover. I like it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like
It
it.
looks a little
great.
bit. It looks a little bit better. Yeah, but it's
That
here.
is
A little
that
bit
is so
smaller,
much
so we
fun.
tightened up a little bit of the margins, so it's not as thick. It's not a Bible anymore.
Can I just show you guys for scale? Here's my head. Do you see this? Okay. I like it. I mean, it's, that's something you can leave
Yeah,
on the
it's
desk.
sturdy. It's sturdy for sure, and it's available in hardback and paperback. Originally, it was not the plan to do paperback, so we have paperback
Glory.
for the paperback lovers. But yeah, it is. It feels so good. It's real, and yeah, it's a journey too that did not happen in a vacuum.
Mm,
So a lot of people here on this call, I can see some of the guests who are tuning in made
yeah.
this book a reality. So it's fun,
Yeah.
super
A
pumped.
lot of, and I think this is the truth for a lot of our journeys. It's not singular. I think we all really believe that you can't go on this thing alone. And so, Clay, one of the things that I find just really powerful and impactful for the book, and we're going to talk about some ins and outs really today for all of you listening. In part, we just wanted to celebrate. We wanted to celebrate Clay. We want to celebrate the clients in this book. We want to celebrate all the people that are involved in this book. And I just wanted to highlight, because it's real time. This is what's happening on January 12th. You just came back from a wonderful 10-year anniversary with your beautiful wife, Emily, who I know is such a big impact on your life in this book. And so how does it feel, one, to have had a little bit of break and rest?
Oh, so good.
And then two, come back and everyone gets access to this via Amazon today.
Yeah. Well, at the very beginning of the book, I'll read this, and I was thinking about it. So I dedicated the book to Emily and to my two boys. So for Emily, the one who stands beside me in every season, my cheerleader, my counselor, my confidant, my partner in every adventure, I couldn't imagine this journey without you. I mean, there's a lot of people who are called out in this book. Emily was, I think, the first person that was called out in the first, or in the intro, or in chapter 1. But yeah, I mean, it's been a journey that Emily and I have been on the past 10 years. And I just feel like the timing of the book launch, coinciding with the timing of our getaway to West Texas, to the desert, was just awesome. So coming in fresh into the new year to just push hard to get this out and to as many businesses as possible, is just, the timing just feels right. So
I love it. It is pretty powerful. And I think for a lot of other entrepreneurs out there who really, are trying to honor both their family life, their marriages, their faith, and run a healthy business, it's a lot to juggle. And for all of those things, I think to coincide is really pretty special. And I know it's special for you and your family. I wanted to get into the book a little bit before we hear first from some people who've been impacted. But just to start, Clay, as I read the book, as I look at the stories that are in the book, one of the things that I think about from a small business perspective and from sales leader and revenue perspective is, honestly, like, why? There's a lot of programs out there. There's a lot of tactics. There's a lot of practicalities. There's a lot of different things businesses could implement.
yeah.
And it just, and I know, of course, you talk about it, you highlight some of these things in the book, but for you, just to revisit it a little bit, and for those listening, what was the big problem that just kept coming up, that honestly maybe even kept you up at night, that you thought, hey, other people need this and other people need it at scale? What was that for you? And what was, what really brought you to start this journey?
Yeah. Well, I think the reality is that business is hard. I mean, there are probably at this point thousands of different frameworks you could follow. And I think in the end of the book, I even allude to the fact that there is nothing new under the sun. But I was really inspired by a lot of the work that Gino Wickman, that Donald Miller, that Michael Hyatt have done. And there are bits and pieces that, I mean, I don't claim that anything that I created was novel outside of the fact that this is what happens when you combine all of these elements together. And this is the fruition of a lot of the work that I've done, both internally in my own businesses and externally with my clients. And as I mentioned, business is hard. It is work. And most businesses don't fail because they lack effort. I don't think that's really the problem. There's a lot of effort being put into businesses. I mean, that's why you start to begin with. And so they don't stall out because you are just not working hard enough. They stall out because growth gets chaotic. Marketing feels busy, sales feels heavy, the team gets tired. And oftentimes business owners will come to me and they say, I feel like the harder I push, the less clear things become. And so I wrote this book because, frankly, not everything went right. I made a lot of mistakes, and there's a lot of those mistakes included in the book because, once again, I'm not trying to say, hey, I am the king of all business, because there's 1,000 people who equally are just experienced and have made mistakes. I'm just trying to help you avoid them. And so the book is all about helping you avoid those mistakes and zero in on the things that I've found to work. This book is not for everybody. This book was written with the business owner in mind, specifically the founder who has proven their product, proven their service. They're doing $1 million in revenue or something along those lines, but they just haven't figured out how to grow beyond that. And so it's really designed for businesses somewhere between $1 million and $50 million in revenue. We have people on both ends of the spectrum, some lower than $1 million, some higher than 50 million. But that's kind of the sweet spot that I found, because that's where you make some of the biggest leaps forward, where the owner gets out of sales and the owner is more focused on developing their leadership team and making sure their culture is healthy to scale well. And so that's really what this is all about, is making sure that we take a healthy product or service that you've proven and make it better to the world, taking sales and marketing, combining them into one, and helping you grow. So I could spend hours. I mean, I've already been spending hours. I've been in the midst of finalizing the audio book of this. And so needless to say, I think I told Emily the other day, I'm like, I don't ever want to be a voiceover artist, because I've been locked in this room recording chapter after chapter after chapter. And so far we're 10 hours in.
Oh, so, my goodness.
But it's good. It's good. But
I love it.
But yeah, how do we keep that in 30 minutes? I don't know. Luke, that's up to you.
You're going to have that thing on 10x. Yeah. We'll work on that one from now on. You know, what's really interesting to me, I think you and I especially talk to a lot of business owners, and unfortunately, I was thinking about this just in regards to the book and in regards to just the launch today, and even some of the clients we currently work with, where, you talk a lot about this in the book, and creating a clear revenue pipeline, right? Creating a clear revenue process and even a system. And one thing I was curious about for you is, what do you think most owners, and especially the owners that you were talking about, what do you think they misunderstand about that idea when they hear it? Like, I mean, it sounds great to everybody. I'd love a clear revenue pipeline. I would love to know where my next dollar is coming from. And of course this talks about that in here, but what do you think, like, what's the myth? Where do people get it wrong when thinking about that idea?
Well, I talk about a lot of them in the book, but I think the number one thing that I focus on to begin with is I combine sales and marketing into one revenue team. The common myth that I have heard from clients, and even I struggle to fight against, it's that, well, marketing is all about visibility, brand impressions, all that kind of stuff, and sales is about closing the deal. It's about bringing that money in the door. But in reality, marketing, especially in the age of AI, especially in the age of hyper-specific targeting and the ability to create unique landing pages for each of your customers. I mean, we're in an age where you can do that. So I would just say that if we can overcome that myth and say,
marketing and sales need to be talking about revenue. That's the number one focus of those two departments. And where sales is helping marketing, marketing is helping sales. I think if we can overcome that, then we can overcome anything from a growth perspective. Because what I've found is businesses will invest in marketing, check the box off, and then say, why am I not growing? Well, it's because sales isn't closing the deal. And sales is having this age-old debate saying, well, marketing's not giving me the right leads. And then marketing is saying, well, sales isn't closing the deal. And so when you combine those two together and they're both held accountable for the same thing, then you're instantly able to see that success. And there's so much packed into this book. It was really hard. I mean, I cut out so many chapters. Shout out to my editor, Erin McPherson. She stuck with me on this. But we cut out a lot because, frankly, there's just so much that we could say about this topic. But we've boiled it down into three main categories where we focus on heart first. You can't focus on sales, on revenue, on marketing unless you have a good culture. So that's the necessary foundation for your business. Without a good culture, your revenue will stall out. You will not be able to break past that ceiling. Then we focus on heading. Heading is that clear, repeatable system, the strategy, the unification of marketing and sales. And then there's the hustle. That's the easy part for a lot of business owners. It's just that hustle and that relentless discipline. And then each one of those sections we break down further on how to actually implement them. I'll let the people who've already read the book share their experience as they've been rolling this out. But my goal in putting this into written word is so that people know it's not just a theory. It's a legitimate action that can be taken. And so I didn't want to just write another book on the theory of business. I wanted to write kind of an operating manual. And that's kind of what this birthed out of. I started writing a standard operating procedure for my business, and it turned into this book. So back to you, Luke.
So good, man. And I think it really, as I think about it, it's very important that you can take this home as a business owner and start working today.
Yeah.
And I think that is just really valuable. It is really hard. I was finishing a book last night and I was really excited for the tactical practicals. And it got to this point and it was like, it's all up here. And it's like and some of the, the methodologies they're not bad. It's not wrong, but you gotta, at the end of the day, there are lots of, especially the founders that you're speaking to, they want to know, what can I actually do tomorrow? Like they're the creators, they're the visionaries oftentimes, and they want to just start to make the next things happen. I'm really excited because we've had a few people read the book already. And I wanted to, we have some pre-recorded video, and I wanted to just give a few of not just people who've read the book, but actually people who are implementing this for other businesses right now as fractionals, share a little bit about the impact they have gotten from it.
I'm incredibly excited for Velocity to be coming out. This framework is a game changer when it comes to organizing businesses and really producing better profits and overall revenue in a company.
So Velocity has so many practical applications for how you can use this in your business. And then there are all of these examples. So it's not just the theoretical or even like you think it's practical, but it's like, how exactly is this happening in a business? And what is the impact that has been made as a result of it?
I am super excited for Velocity to be coming out. A lot of the reason why is because a lot of these small businesses, high growth businesses, need a framework to build and scale their revenue. And Clay has figured out a formula that works, that literally has exploded all of his clients into exponential revenue growth. So super excited about the framework. Can't wait to get this thing out into the world.
I'm stoked about the Velocity framework. I've worked in all sorts of marketing and sales advising positions, and the number one issue is they very rarely talk to each other and they very rarely view themselves as one team. Velocity is going to solve that for so many businesses. I can't wait for the book to come out. You got to read it, dive into the framework.
I love that. Have you heard those yet, Clay? Have you heard?
I have not. That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Thank you, guys.
amazing, amazing individuals, Brad, Johnny, Danielle, and Ian in there. All of them know, and they've seen it from $100 million all the way to some of them $700 million businesses. They've seen what works and what doesn't work. And I just love that I've gotten to literally, break bread with all of those people, and they really, they're not lying. The stories are so good in here. The practicalities are so good in here, Clay. But it does make me think from a leadership perspective. So, this is a great book for, again, those founders. And even, I think Brad was sort of alluding to this a little bit, and you started talking about this in the heart, heading and hustle perspective. What would you say is the one thing a leader has to stop doing to make this work? I could elaborate, but I'll just ask the question.
So what is the one thing a leader must stop doing to make the framework work or to generate revenue?
I would say put the framework in place so that they could generate greater revenue. Because and I'll filibuster here for you.
No, you don't need to unless you want to say something.
Great.
So
nope, perfect.
Okay. So I mean, the reality is, like, with any change, with any rhythm that you're installing in your business, you've got to have humility. I mean, we talk extensively about it in the book, but if you lack humility, you will not be able to be successful in implementing this or any framework. You've got to be willing to say, I am part of the problem, and I'm willing to address that. And I don't want to get ahead of the curve, but I see one of the questions that Ian thoughtfully threw in there on how to start applying the framework. I don't want to get ahead of it, but I mean, humility is one of the very first steps you do. You do a culture audit. You assess what are the behaviors that you're allowing in your business right now that are currently holding you back. What are the behaviors you're rewarding? And what are the real values that run your business? I mean, so often when I sit down with a client at the very beginning of an engagement, we'll talk about what their core values are as a business, and they'll list out the typical ones: the excellence, the integrity. That's a big one that I see in every single business. But then I'll typically turn it around on them and say, okay, well, what behaviors are present in the business, good or bad? And we'll end up finding that integrity and excellence are more often than not excluded from that list. They are not things that are rewarded. Things that tend to be rewarded are politicking. Things that are rewarded are pride and arrogance. And as soon as we can start to weed those out in the organization, starting in the leadership team, then we can build from there and have a strong foundation. One of the examples that I use, one of my clients, we actually went through this process of this culture audit, and we fired the entire C-suite, the CEO, the COO, the CFO, the CMO. They were all fired after we went through this process because the new owner who had just acquired this company realized the values present in this organization are not values that are going to help us get to $1 billion valuation. And so I think that's the very first thing that a person reading this needs to walk in with, is just a heart of humility, saying, I don't have it all figured out, and I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to learn.
I love that, Clay. It reminds me, one of our clients is a commercial paving client out in Houston, and they came to us a handful of years ago. We were doing a little bit of work with them. And then it was probably about, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago that you started having these conversations with them where they were like, hey, we're not really, like, $3 to $5 million is fine, but we know we could be better.
Yeah.
So they were starting to feel that internally. And you tell some stories about them in here. And I'm really curious. So we get the right people. That's the heart, the culture. And there's a lot more in depth that you talk about that in the book. I don't mean to, like, blow over it.
You're good.
But as we think about even that client, the leadership team, was really good to get set. But where, from my perspective, and even talking to Reese, their owner, it seems as though when they really started getting into the heading perspective and the heading phase of this process, that's where they really started to see some of that exponential growth. And I would also just credit that partially to, like, you have to have the right foundation, you got to have the right people, the right heart, the right culture, because it's how it grows exponentially. People are all going in the right direction. As you think about Reese and the Trip team, why do you think, as they started to, aside from the culture and the heart components, as they started down the right heading steps and getting sales and marketing aligned and getting their process and their people behind it, what do you feel like was the real sort of like linchpin for them to start to hit their growth? Now they're in the 30s, closing in on $40 million a year. Why was the heading section so important for them?
Yeah, well, I mean, the reality is, if you don't know where the target is, there's no way you're going to hit it. I mean, let's just, I don't know who is actually tuning in right now, but my boys and I, we have a 22, and we'll go into our backyard on our property, and we've got this little spinning target that we'll shoot at. And the boys love hitting it because it spins every time you hit it. And if you had no idea where that thing was on a 5-acre property, how likely would it be that you would actually hit the target? Very, very slim. But when you know where you're supposed to aim, and you work on precision for that aim, then you're more likely to hit it. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's very, very elementary, but more often than not, businesses will get in the weeds of the day-to-day, and they'll forget to set goals that are meaningful and that actually are achievable. And so I actually asked Henry, the head of revenue for AAA. I asked him, I don't know, 6 months ago. I said, Henry, what do you think the main catalyst has been from your perspective? And he's like, the rhythm. It's been, we're meeting consistently. We're in agreement on the direction that we're running in. We're all headed towards that same goal, and we're achieving it together because that's where our heads are at. There are other businesses who have not been successful because they did not get their team in alignment. And so you had this one person over here who said, I don't really want to be building a $20 million business. I want to maintain a $2 million business. So you didn't have that person equally motivated to achieve that long-term goal. And so it slowed down the business. And so I think in reality, with any business, you've got to have the right people and the right trajectory, the right direction that you're running in. And you've got to be willing to stick with it. If you're constantly chasing after new ideas and new visions and new opportunities, maybe rolling out a new service or a new product, you're just constantly going to be reinventing the wheel, and you're going to be maybe a mile wide, but you're only going to be an inch deep. And so we want to make sure that the same thing rings true regardless of what business you're in, that you are headed in one clear direction. And that's what heading is all about, is giving you the tools to set the right goals and to know how to measure them, and to have the right system and infrastructure in place for that to be successful. And I mean, once again, this is probably the beefiest part of the book, but it talks a lot about what we call the velocity flywheel, which is just the consistent circular rhythms that you need to run through before you move on into hustle. Does that answer your question, Luke?
Amen. I love it. It just, it makes me think, a lot about, and for you and I, very much a lot of our life and a lot of businesses is backed in faith. And it really just makes me think, the Bible talks a lot about those who don't have a vision will perish. And those who aren't really like in alignment together, going somewhere together, will splinter. They will fall apart, right? And I think it's pretty impactful. The Bible talks about this. The Bible talks about how we all are equal parts and different parts to the same body. And you can't, a foot can't do what a hand can do, and a nose can't do what an ear can do. And so there's something so impactful too about and I don't know if you meant it that way, but I think it came out of you in a way in the book because of that. That when you get into that heading side of the business, it really has to be on purpose and on mission, and it has to come from the same people on purpose and on mission and goals that are driving focus. And so I've been really impacted by that, and I know it's come from a place from you who you've been impacted by other people, other business owners, other individuals who have been able to speak life into that perspective. And so I actually want to pause from heading, and we'll get on to hustle in just a little bit, Clay, to share actually a few special messages with you from some people who have, I believe, impacted you along the way.
Clay, congrats on the release of this book. I know you've been working on it for so hard and putting so much effort into it for a long time. Not just the actual process of writing, but the process of figuring this out, of applying this and delivering this over and over and refining it and reviewing it, making it better so that you can get better results for so many people. Every time we talk, every time I'm around you, I'm encouraged about all the things you're doing in the world, but I'm personally challenged to be better myself, to figure out how can I be more intentional about value? How can I create things that last, that go far beyond me? A resource like this is going to help so many other people grow their businesses without you directly involved. But it's your wisdom, your insight, your God-given abilities that are doing that. I want to say we know that money is not the ultimate scoreboard. It is a thing on the scoreboard that we use as a tool. And you're going to help more companies make more money so that ultimately they can do more good in the world and leave a lasting impact far beyond what you or I could ever do directly. So congrats on the book. I look forward to cheering you on and seeing how this thing grows.
Oh, that's awesome. I love Wes.
I know if you've listened to the Good Business Podcast episodes and episodes ago, you might have seen our buddy Wes on there talking to Clay. But Clay, we were chatting with a few of your fellow entrepreneurs and mastermind and community, and so it just made me start thinking about who, Wes, people like Wes. Who were some people that really impacted you, that also motivated you, alongside obviously your wife and your boys, who helped you step into actually writing this book?
Yeah. Whew. A very, very long list of people. But yeah, I mean, to your point and to what Wes just shared, I mean, Wes is a part of a mastermind that I've been a part about, 3 years ago. And so Jay Owen, Kurt Stockwell, Rob Hughes, Tyler Pygott, and of course, Wes and Jay Owen. They all have been pouring into me and sharing insights that they've learned in their own experiences with their clients and with their team. And so I know that mastermind has been really good because they all love Jesus. They all love running good, healthy businesses. Jay, Wes, and I, we tend to be a little bit more on the bougie side. And so we have some fun on that side. But in short, to Wes's point, I mean, that's what our goal is collectively, is we want to impact the world for good. And one of the ways we can track like a quantifiable metric of success is, hey, how much revenue are we generating for ourselves and our clients? So I think that's been a big part. I do want to give a huge shout out to all of my clients who have allowed me to experiment on their businesses, whether it's been a nonprofit or a for-profit. I mean, they have allowed me to bring my inside experience into their business, and they've trusted me. Some newer clients, like the folks over at Montera Stucco. We've got some of the older clients like Jonathan at Wild Tree, who we've been with for, coming on a decade. And so all that to be said, I mean, it has been, I've learned a ton working in our clients' businesses. I've learned a ton working and just jumping into life with my mastermind. And then to you, Luke, to Abby, and to James, who have been on the leadership team, and Michael Green as well. We've all been going through this and learning along the way. And this book right here is just a memento to everything that I learned over the past almost 20 years in business. So
Amen. Amen. And I love that you mentioned a couple of those guys because, Clay, I've got a few more messages for you.
Clay, it's your buddy Kurt here. Greetings from the beautiful Northwest. Hey, man, congratulations on the book. Man, what a huge milestone to produce that, and the course and the training and everything that goes along with it. Super cool. Really proud of you for what you've done there, what you've done creating your business. Man, you're an incredible leader. You're an incredible business mind, but most importantly, you're an incredible man of God. You love your kids, you love your wife, and you put Christ first. Really proud of you, man. Enjoy this.
Clay, congratulations. It's a big deal that you just launched your book, Velocity. Can't wait for people to get it in their hands. I can't wait to get it in my hands. I'm not sure why I don't have a pre-copy, to be honest with you. But either way, you probably offered to send me one, and I just probably didn't send you something I was supposed to do. Anyway, I'm excited for you and excited for the lives it's going to change. And I'm just thankful to know you, thankful to be your friend. You love the Lord. You love your wife. You love your family. You care about business, but not just to make money, although money's great too. You want to make an impact and change other people for good, and you do that. You do it all the time, and you care deeply. You're smart. You're hardworking. You're all the things that I believe a biblical man is. Somebody who is a protector and a provider for the people around him. And yeah, and you're a good friend. And I know I can call you anytime, and I'm thankful for that. I'm so excited for your book launch. Can't wait to see how it affects people and to hear all the stories that come from it. Good luck, brother. I love you.
Congratulations, Clay, for launching the book Velocity. I know you've spent a lot of hours putting it together, editing it, pulling together ideas and concepts, which I know that are all a part of the many hours of wisdom that you've picked up from business owners that have been working with you. And I know also that it comes from many hours of mentors speaking into your life as well. And I am proud to be one of them and wish you the very best as you launch this book.
Man, what are you doing to me, Luke? You're going to make me weepy like Dr. Peterson or Jay Owen or something. Man.
For those who don't know, Jay Owen was in there, Kurt Stockwell, some of the mastermind, just amazing men that Clay has connected with over the years. That last gentleman was Clay's father. Clay, I wanted to bring him on because I know you've talked a lot about your dad. I know you had him on the podcast a while ago, but I wanted to just ask you, in your years of business, what did your dad really teach you that you believe has made you a better entrepreneur, leader, business owner, and really has poured into the stories and the wisdom that's behind this book?
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for not letting me prep for that. Gosh. Okay. So there's a part of the book that I actually talk about something that my mom and dad, they actually they were the first investors in my very first business. They gave me a loan, I don't know, $1,000, maybe less, maybe more, something like that, to start a power washing business. Splash Power Washing, man, throwback there. And so they took a gamble on me, and they've continued to encourage and invest in me over the years. My dad specifically has just set the example of what it looks like to be a good leader. And that's one of the reasons why I had him on the podcast a couple of years ago, was just because he, while he was not an entrepreneur in the traditional sake, he still led massive projects, massive teams for ExxonMobil over his almost 40 years working there. And so he, along with just raising us kids to do what's right, even when no one's looking, to seek to leave things better than you found it, to invest in the people around you. I mean, all of the above. So, yeah, I would just say that my dad was such a instrumental part in that. success and just instilling me with the values that I need to be successful. And humility is, I think, the mark of the best leader. And my dad definitely exhibits that. So
I love it. Thank you for sharing unprepared about that one. I had to surprise Clay a little bit. Okay, guys, with some of those
good
videos.
job.
You know, what's interesting just about what you're sharing there in many ways, obviously, I think it goes back to the core fundamental and the heart posture and the heart heading hustle process. It really does come back to the heart. And I just want to make a quick note and caveat there that it's something I've learned alongside you and even in my short moments with your father learned and learned from some amazing, faithful business owners over the year, is that some of the best, especially men out there, some of the best business owners I know are also amazing fathers. And to your point, comes with a lot of humility, comes with a lot of leading first, loving our wives first. And so I just really loved that. And I think those elements are really in this book. And I think for business owners that want healthy businesses and healthy families, it's not really what you wrote to, Clay, but it's in here. And so I think that's just another really cool element. With our last few moments, I want to finish with hustle, and then share actually a nice little testimonial from one of our amazing clients with everybody. If you're listening and you've got some other questions for Clay, if you've got some notes about the book, feel free to ask those too, and we'll have some time at the end to field some of those questions. But Clay, as we get back into the book, the last section is on hustle. You talk a lot about profit here. You do talk a lot about growing profit in the right ways. You talk about putting in the effort, putting in the work, and I just want to talk about that a little bit because there are a lot of people, especially on LinkedIn, a lot of influencers out there, a lot of people who say they can help grow a business and help 10x people's profits. Talk to me a little bit about your perspective on the difference between healthy profits and just profit at all costs, revenue growth at all costs. How do you see the difference there?
Yeah. Well, I don't really talk about it too much in the book, but I think there's a culture in our economy tied to private equity, which is divorcing this idea of people and profit and saying that they are two separate things, especially when it comes to a service-based business, but in any business right now. The reality is like you can't sacrifice your people for the sake of profit. They both need to be held in a healthy tension. And so profit is obviously the purpose in business. You want to generate a profit so you can stay in business and grow because you'll reinvest those profits. I think that the culture that we have puts profit above those people and honestly anything else. Profit at all costs is kind of what the gurus are saying right now online. And that causes chaos. It causes burnout. And frankly, it's a lie. You look at social media influencers and the investors who are making billions and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's all garbage. Because that's not how you run a healthy business. That's how you burn yourself out. And so I think the whole purpose of me having that third section in the book for hustle is frankly to say, hey, look, this is not about burnout. The word hustle is commonly seen as a synonym to burnout, and that's just not true. Hustle is rhythm, not chaos. Hustle is discipline, not running on adrenaline. Hustle is that consistent pedaling, not sprinting and then stalling. I use the analogy of just riding on a trail a lot in this section because you don't want to push hard once and then coast. You want to win by sticking with the pedals the entire time. I think this concept of hustle also helps protect against vanity growth. There's obviously the people at any conference you attend, oh, what's your revenue? No one really says, hey, what's your profit? And so I think this constant chase after top line revenue is the wrong indicator. It's the wrong measurable. And profit is the measurable that needs to be a big component of that. But as long as you're deploying the heart and the heading sections of the book. So when you're not following the right hustle framework, you're going to be chasing after vanity revenue. You're going to be adding complexity to your business. You're going to often say yes to the wrong things and to the wrong clients. Guilty as charged. You're going to confuse activity with progress, and that's just going to spin your wheels, and you're going to burn out. And this whole section of hustle is all about having good 90-day sprints, very similar to EOS in regard to the framework of business. But it's also going to help you manage your team better, because you're not just waiting on the lagging measures of a 90-day review with your team member. You're going to be engaging with your team member on a monthly basis, so that their scorecards are telling the truth of what's going on, and you can pivot faster. There's going to be clear ownership of priorities, not just by you and not just by an individual, but by the collective. And then you're going to have daily, weekly, and quarterly rhythms that help you maintain that and hold you accountable to that. I think that's where a lot of business owners, especially who are kind of sitting in both the visionary and the integrator seat, that's where I think the damage is often done the most, is because visionary bone typically takes over integrator. And once again, guilty as charged. So if the visionary is constantly throwing out new ideas and there's no one to hold them in check, then you're going to spin your wheels and you're not going to grow. And so that's what this hustle section is all about. Is yes, profit is the goal. We're gonna make sure that we're doing it without burning out yourself or your team. But these are the rhythms that you have to follow to make sure that you're actually growing in a healthy trajectory and at a healthy pace.
I love that. That is so helpful and so valuable. One of our dear mutual friends, Clay, Chad Barrett, was tuning in. Chad, we're grateful for you, brother. And he was just asking Clay, what's one or two maybe tougher experiences that helped you shape the book? I wonder if you could think about something like that along the way.
Okay. So I think one of the tougher experiences that honestly put me into a place where I started to gain experience to even talk about writing a book is one of the experiences that I highlight when it came to our business being in a really unhealthy space. I had not managed cash flow well, and in February of 2020, we were on the brink of bankruptcy. It was not good. We were in a place where kind of the market in Houston fallen out from underneath us, and our cash flow projections just had fallen so far short of what we needed them to be. And I was having to get on a town hall and call 150 people because we were. This was one of my other businesses. I had to say, hey guys, I'm not gonna be able to pay you. In fact, I don't know if I will ever be able to pay you because this is what's happened, and I haven't managed cash flow well. And so that moment of intense humility, forced humility at that, I think shaped a lot of what was the foundation to this book and why we start with heart. Because what most people fear the most when being humble and, dare I say the word, vulnerable, is they fear rejection, they fear failure, they fear that someone will view them less than what they view themselves or want to be seen as. And so if you can humble yourself and not be afraid of how others view you, and just be honest to a fault, then I think you'll be incredibly successful in business. And that business that I was in February of 2020 absolutely certain was going to go out of business and going to cause professional and personal bankruptcy, ended up being sold for millions within a matter of, I think, 2 years of that happening. And so The reality is like the Lord honors the heart of humility. And obviously I'm a Christian. I've never held that back. But the book is not a Christian book. I think Amazon categorized it as partially Christian living, what I think is the category I put it in. But that said, I think that was one of the hardest lessons that I learned that also informed the immense success that we've had. So
good. So good. And he opposes the proud is
Yeah.
what that scripture says. I love it. And such a good point. There's nothing better. And of course, on our leadership team at Good Agency, humility is like our biggest core value. Because it is the thing that we have to operate off of. And I can tell you firsthand, Clay, myself, Abby, James previously, and really all of our team, we've had very hard, humble conversations. And the best thing that can come from that for any leadership team is the best for the business, the best for the people. And you have to have those conversations. You have to go to those hard places. You have to be humble. And I have seen Clay do it, and I really appreciate that. And I think our clients appreciate it. I think our team appreciates it. I know they do. And that being said, Clay, I think one of the coolest things Good Agency does through the prayers and the heart that you and Emily have is giving to amazing nonprofits. And one of the nonprofits we got to partner with a couple of years ago and now still are in partnership with is called Safe House Project. They're set to eradicate human trafficking all over the world. And they're a really passionate group. They're a really powerful group. And you get to serve as a leader on their team, implementing a lot of this work. And we just wanted to get one of their leaders and co-founders, Brittany, to share a little bit about her perspective of the book, her perspective of going through the process.
Hey friends, my name is Brittany Dunn. I am one of the co-founders of the Safe House Project. When you're running a business or a nonprofit like Safe House Project, every dollar you raise goes to impact lives. But here's the challenge. You don't always have the ability to hire that chief development officer. So that is where the power of a chief revenue expert can really help catalyze the growth for your nonprofit. They bring to the table their understanding of helping cultivate major donors, building campaigns, and developing sustainable revenue streams. They're working strategically for your organization at a fraction of the cost. And so it's really a critical moment sometimes in your growth trajectory to say, how are we going to get to that next level? What are we going to invest in order to make sure that we are here for the long term? And I truly believe that during those seasons of stretch and growth, when you can't necessarily hire that full-time role, hiring a fractional anything, in this case, fractional revenue expert, gives you the infrastructure to grow your donor pipelines, build corporate partnerships, and build campaigns that can scale with your organization. For us, that has meant the world. I mean, we have seen our programs just leapfrog with the investment into knowing how to communicate with our donors, our stakeholders, and ensuring that every survivor that we serve has the opportunity to exit trafficking and enter into a safe house. So I encourage you to find that fractional revenue expert that fits your team culture. Let them bring their strategic expertise to create sustainable growth and really propel your organization into the future.
We are big fans of Brittany, Christy, and the whole team at Safe House Project doing amazing work. We were here to pitch the Velocity, but by the way, if you want to see an organization doing amazing work, go to safehouseproject.org.
Yes.
And you can give there, you can support there, you can watch the mission grow there. Clay, as we wrap this session and just celebrating the launch of the book, the day is not over. The night is young. Many people have time to get the book and to really launch into better growth for their company and their cultures. What are a couple just final thoughts that you have on your heart today about the book, about the launch, about clients, about just the future of people taking this and implementing to their organizations?
Yeah. Well, just to close the story loop on the conversation about Safe House Project, I think a lot of people look at a business book and they say, this is exclusively for a for-profit business. But the reality is, like, we've deployed the Velocity framework with Safe House Project, and it has been so cool to see the growth year over year for them. We just finished up reviewing the 2025 numbers, and not only can we see a revenue tie to the work that we've done, but we can also see an impact tie. When we first partnered with Safe House Project, they were serving about 1,000 people a year, helping about 1,000 victims exit from human trafficking. And the final report was that this past year, we've helped bring in the funds to support and the awareness for even victims to find Safe House Project. And that's been resulting in 2,644 victims rescued from trafficking in the United States. And these are children. These are human beings. And if you think about an auditorium with 2,644 people in it, that's a lot of people that we got to be a part of impacting. And so the results of the Velocity framework in action, especially with a nonprofit that is so mission focused, it's something that you just can't even put a number on, because yes, we went from about $10,000 a month to about $50,000 a month in revenue generated for Safe House Project through their online platform. Just when we're looking at December of this past year, and then we also see the lives changed as a result of that. So I don't want anyone to think, wow, Velocity is only for a business. No, it is for any organization. It could be for a church. It could be for a manufacturing company. It could be for a SaaS company. It could be for a nonprofit. And the purpose in all of this, the reason why I wrote the book is I wanted to create a practical guide so that you can build an aligned culture, have a clear strategy, and know what disciplined execution looks like so your organization can grow faster without burning out. And I think a lot of times that growth is what kills businesses and organizations. And so that little moniker there that says without burning out is so critical. And one of the big parts of the hustle framework is having rest and reflection and knowing, all right, this is what happened. I'm going to rest, I'm going to process, and this is how we're going to pivot with that new information. So with all that to be said, I think my call to action with all of you guys, sure, buy the book. I didn't write the book to make a ton of money. I wrote the book to help you make a lot of money and to help you impact the world for good. And so if you'd like to get a bunch of copies from me, I'm happy to give you bulk discounts, all that kind of stuff, because I want this in as many hands as possible. So go to Amazon, buy the paperback, buy the Kindle. If you pre-ordered the book, you will be getting the Audible version of the book when it comes out. If you did not pre-order the book, the Audible version will be coming out later this month. And I just can't wait for you guys to have access to all of that. But yeah, I really am excited for this book to go live and for the many, many lives that will be changed as a result of it. So,
amen. And we know they will. It is the prayer of this book. It is the reality of this book. Lives have already been changed because of the actions and stories in this book. I'll just add on to what Clay had to share as a final call to action. If you know a business owner who was doing well and you can just look at them and they're tired, burnt out, and wrestling, I think this would be a great gift for them because they need that hope. They need the trajectory. They need new tactics to put into place, and that's going to be this book for them. We all are just, Clay, so grateful for you. So grateful for your investment into this book, your investment into our team, our Good Agency team, investment into our clients, and I know too into your church and into your friends and family and beyond. And so thank you. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for giving it to the world. And again, as Clay mentioned, go ahead, velocitybook.com, find it on Amazon. You can check out all the things we're doing at Good Agency. Mostly, I think Clay and I are around LinkedIn, so you can find everything there as well if you're already listening on LinkedIn. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for for checking this out. Thanks for celebrating with us with Clay. And by the way, because Clay probably won't say this, if you did buy the book, go write a review on Amazon because it's live today. It's ready to go, and we would love to get this in front of more business owners and executives out there. So thank you guys for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. And again, Clay, congratulations on the book launch.
Thank you, Luke.
Oh, it's exciting to finally be here. Most marketers are hired to increase revenue. We should be hired to increase profit. We're just gonna jump right on in. I wanted to help businesses shorten the years of struggle. Fractional model is the way of the future. These three core areas. If you can get first the culture taken care of with your heart, then you get your strategy, and then you can hustle. The number one goal of the FRE is to get the founder out of sales. When I wrote the book, I had you guys in mind. When we walk into a meeting, we can say that we're a certified fractional revenue executive. We're not just a coach. We're someone who actually is there to help our clients win. May you be successful. May you be humble. May you be hospitable. And may you be filled with grit and a desire to grow. Cheers.